Of about 250 people has 50 sworn police officers on the force.
We're talking about Coffee City. That's up in Henderson County, some 3 hours north of Houston. They have one cop for every 5 residents. And what's more, Jeremy Rogowski discovered many of those officers have a history of problems wearing the badge.
On the banks of Lake Palestine, some 3 hours north of Houston, this dot on the map has quite a reputation among those who drive through.
They're everywhere. Literally everywhere.
They run back and forth, back and forth.
A lot of officers policing a very small number of people.
Only 249 people, says the sign on the edge of town. And when you add up all the full-time cops and reserves,
50 officers.
Good Lord. That's crazy.
It's such a small town. Why do we need so many? Makes no sense. Why do you need that many officers?
Coffee City hauled in $1 million in court fines last year for more than 5,000 violations, officers wrote, the most in the state for a town its size.
But this isn't a story about a small town writing a bunch of tickets. You see, Coffee City is a magnet for troubled cops.
How do we know? KHOU 11 Investigates obtained personnel records from other police agencies and found more than half of Coffee City officers had been suspended, demoted, terminated, or dishonorably discharged from their previous jobs. A dozen were even criminally charged.
I was astounded to think that they've been hired by another agency.
Greg Freeman is a Sam Houston State criminal justice professor and retired Houston police captain.
I've never seen anything like that in my professional career, and I've seen a lot.
Their prior discipline ranges from excessive force to public drunkenness, untruthfulness, and association with known criminals. Criminal charges include DWI, theft, aggravated assault, family violence, and endangering a child.
If you knowingly are hiring an officer that has a very troubled past and history and has no business to be wearing a uniform, and it's a very, very precarious slope that city is engaging in by hiring.
This is the man who hired them. Chief John J. Portillo quadrupled the department's size since he took the job 2 years ago. He says to provide 24/7 coverage for the town.
Why would you hire so many people with all these red flags?
There's more to just what's on paper. And that's where I rely on my captain and my background investigators to go in and dig and say, hey, what's the truth behind this?
The chief says criminal charges were often dismissed, dishonorable discharges overturned. He claims most applicants hired got on the wrong side of agency politics.
If you go back to the totality of a lot of these officers' stuff, I would say 75%, if not more, they're being retaliated against from their agency.
Retaliate?
Mm-hmm.
Why would you take a chance, Chief?
I try to look at the good in everybody, and I believe everybody deserves an opportunity.
You give a lot of opportunities.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
The opportunity to wear a badge allows his officers to work extra jobs, which can mean real money, $50 an hour or more.
I mean, let's not hide it from anybody. They're making probably about $80,000 to $100,000 a year doing that.
And I asked Portillo directly, does he get a cut of his officers' extra job wages? Twice during our interview, the chief said no. The only money he makes from extra jobs is from the ones he works himself. And that takes us from Coffee City to Houston and what's coming up tomorrow night at 10. That's Chief Portillo caught on camera cussing out an elected Harris County constable. Portillo was working security for a Southeast Houston apartment complex nearly 200 miles away from Coffee City. More on that video and what else we learned about Chief Portillo's past as our investigation continues tomorrow at 10. Len and me.
Jeremy Rogowski, fascinating report there.
We'll see you tomorrow for more. Thank you.
Coffee City, Texas, a small town of about 250 people and 50 police officers on the force.
Our investigative team dug through records and found half of those officers had been suspended, demoted, or fired from previous jobs, some even criminally charged.
And Jeremy Rogowski discovered the man who hired them can have a short fuse when dealing with others who wear the badge here in Harris County.
Coffee City's police chief routinely works an extra job 200 miles away at this Houston apartment complex. And on this day, watch how John J. Portillo behaves.
I'm about to call Garcia and tell him he did not be that collection.
It's an expletive-filled rant launched at the elected constable of Harris County Precinct 2, Jerry Garcia.
I'll call Garcia right now. Tell him
Portillo wanted Precinct 2 to file charges on a man he says assaulted him at the complex. It was just one of many requests the constable says kept coming in from off-duty Coffee City cops.
Which at first was, no big deal. We help anybody and everybody. But then we noticed that it was becoming a pattern.
That pattern, the constable says, was draining resources. So Garcia reached out to the Harris County District Attorney's Office.
And we were advised to tell Chief Portillo that he had to file the charges.
But when deputies did just that, Portillo left a nasty voicemail.
And your captains, lieutenants, or whoever those numbnuts are that you have working for you, tell them your guy's not to help us out.
It saddened me. It upset me to hear that. This isn't something small. This is pretty upsetting.
What upset the constable even more, the response his agency got back after alerting Coffee City's mayor. I don't see very much there that warrants any disciplinary action from the city, the mayor wrote. The officers are contracted by the property for off-duty police protection. You may want to reach out to them with any complaints.
Didn't think that it merited any disciplinary action against him. It's crazy.
Greg Freeman is a Sam Houston State criminal justice professor and retired Houston police captain.
Basically, you're enabling bad behavior now. And that's exactly what the mayor has done.
So what does Chief Portillo have to say for himself?
I was amped up. And I apologized to my city council, at city council.
Did you apologize to Constable Garcia?
No, I haven't had a chance. I haven't talked to him.
The cussing incident happened 6 months ago.
Is that the real John J. Portillo that people are seeing in this video?
No, I don't just go off the handle.
Well, you did hear.
Yeah, because I got socked in the face. I was mad. I was red, and I was upset because they wouldn't, help me file the charges.
It's not the only example we found that calls into question Portillo's character and integrity. In his application to become Coffee City's chief, he never listed this, a DWI charge out of Florida in which he failed to appear in court.
Why wouldn't you disclose that, Chief?
Didn't disclose it. It was over 10 years ago.
You had an active warrant.
Huh? That was disposed of.
No, it wasn't. Court records show the day after our interview, Portillo hired a Florida defense attorney who filed a not guilty plea in the case.
From the looks of it, you weren't being truthful on the application to which you hold the job this day. Chief?
Yeah, I understand. But that's not what it is. I'm not being truthful.
You forgot?
I put down everything that was in my mind when I filled out my application to the best of my knowledge.
Well, that same job application states there are criminal consequences for lying on a government document. Lennon, me.
Okay, so there's more to this investigation tomorrow night.
Yeah, tomorrow we reveal how some Coffee City officers were working full-time right here in Harris County and how the chief suspended that division after we started asking questions.
We'll see that tomorrow night. Thank you, Jeremy.
See that.
Interesting.
A KHOE11 investigation leads to changes at a Texas police department.
This week, we've showed you how the town of Coffee City, 3 hours north of Houston, is a magnet for cops with troubling backgrounds.
Now, the chief is temporarily shutting down a division that works here in Harris County after Jeremy Rogowski questioned whether it's legal.
Coffee City, Texas, a dot on the map with barely 250 residents, has a police force of 50 officers, 5 times the number of cops than any other Texas town its size. And that's not the only thing unusual or odd.
Turns out there are a half dozen full-time Coffee City police officers who don't even work in Coffee City, Texas. Instead, they work from home, more than 3 hours and nearly 200 miles away in Houston.
It's hard to believe that is happening.
Greg Freeman is a Sam Houston State criminal justice professor.
I've never seen anything like that. There are 100 questions that come to my mind.
Who are these officers? This internal email shows they're part of a warrant division. It reads, there is no need to go to Coffee City because you will be spending 95% of your time on the phone, calling people who have outstanding warrants and collecting failure to appear fines. And because it's a full-time position, there's an added perk.
It gives them the ability to go work on an extra job.
Coffee City Chief John J. Portillo concedes they're on the books as full-time because state law only allows full-time cops to work extra security jobs. At this Houston apartment complex, some Coffee City warrant officers do just that and make more than $50 an hour.
They work 2-3 days a week, 4 days a week.
But is it all above board? The warrant division is a performance-based division, and officers' pay is based on the failure to appears they collect.
They're basically bounty hunters in a way.
Freeman says that amounts to a commission for collecting fines.
It doesn't make any sense. From an ethical perspective, it just screams questions about the legitimacy of what they're doing.
That's because state law requires full-time peace officers to get paid at least at the federal minimum wage. But again, at the Coffee City Warrant Division,
The court gives them $150 for each warrant that they clear.
So they don't earn a salary apart from that $150
No, sir. No, sir.
ahead.
Correct.
There you go.
Correct.
Is that legal?
I believe so.
2 days after our interview, Coffee City PD changed course, sending out this email to warrant detectives that said, due to unforeseen difficulties, the program has been suspended until such time as I can make sure that we are in compliance with labor laws.
So whose job is it to police the police? The Department of Public Safety enforces any extra job violations. The Texas Commission on Law Enforcement, or TCOL, has the power to suspend or revoke a peace officer's license. That agency confirms to us it does have an open investigation into the Coffee City Police Department, guys.
You're raising a lot of eyebrows, Jeremy. Thank you.
Sure.
A Deep Ellum man says